All right, gonna do a quick video on this thing. We're back with this. I know I've kind of been on delay with it, but I got a video coming about me starting this thing. It's for the first time in almost 2 years, well over a year and a half, and it ran like crap. And I had to remove the carb. Show all that in a minute. Rebuild it right now. Just tuning this thing. I'm up right now, so that video should be coming in a minute. But I was asked by someone if I had an ignition lock removal or an ignition switch. It's not the ignition switch per se, you know, although people may call it that. There's a ignition switch on this vehicle, but it's an ignition lock. And let me show you all. So out of all the videos I have on this car, which is, I've pretty much covered this entire car with extremely detailed how-tos. I was surprised I didn't have that ignition lock or switch removal. Yeah, I covered everything, even the different drivetrains or engines, how many things. I got detailed videos on them. All the variations of the differential that came in these vehicles, I covered it. I cut 4 of these cars up completely, and I've showed all the components. And something so simple as that I didn't show. So let me show you what I'm talking about, guys. We're gonna make a video on how to remove that, and let's have a little fun with it while we're doing it in the process. All right, let's do a textbook removal with this. Textbook removal. And yeah, let me mount the camera. So textbook removal, very first thing you want to do is remove the negative cable. It doesn't matter here. I'll remove both of them. I don't need them. Just doing this for filming purposes, because I got the vacuum gauge here. I'm messing with this car. All right, so battery is disconnected basically. So that's all we're doing. And let's go on the inside. So the very next thing we want to do, if we have an automatic transmission, make sure the vehicle's in park. If you have a manual transmission, make sure the emergency brakes are in position. After that, the next thing we want to do is remove this pad here or the horn button so we can remove the steering wheel. But I want to note something with me. Out of all the steering wheels I removed in my life, since probably the age of 14, 15, I've never used a puller, and I'll show you guys how I'm going to remove it. I have a video on my channel on this model car showing how to remove the steering wheel without the steering wheel removal tool, and I have several steering wheel removal tools, and I'll show you guys what you can buy, a cheap one or inexpensive one that I probably purchased about 15 years ago that I've never opened, just so you can, if you don't want to move it this way. But let's have a little fun with this. Before we remove this steering wheel has been off this thing many times as I remove different components of the interior, and so it wouldn't take nothing to remove this steering wheel off. To kind of go back with my theory of me removing the steering wheel at the age of 14, because my big brother didn't have a steering wheel puller, so I was able to get it off. And ever since then, I've been doing it that way. So imagine if this steering wheel hadn't been off. This car is almost 50 years old, since it was made nearly 50 years ago. What if we can mimic that or show that to see if I still can do it with the steering wheel that hasn't been off for, say, 50 years? On the identical car, same steering wheel, same everything. Imagine if we can replicate that. What do y'all think? I think we should do it to see if I still got it or if I can remove this steering wheel without a puller. So, with that being said, we can't go back 50 years into the past because the car be like new. So what if we go 50 years in the future, and let's say this car's been neglected, it's been like an apocalyptic war or something, and this car's been totally neglected, and we know the steering wheel had been on here for 50 years, and let's see if I can remove it. So let's do that right now. What do you guys think? Let's have a little fun with this because it is a simple removal. Let's go into 50 years into the future, apocalyptic event didn't happen, this car has set up, and it's an age awfully bad. Let's go. I'm still here. All right, let's go. All right, we're here 50 years into the future, guys. We're gonna see if I can still remove the steering wheel with it being on for nearly 50 years. So let me bring you guys a little closer, and yeah, we're gonna see how we're gonna do this. Yeah, this should be fun. So the very first thing we're gonna do is remove the horn button. This thing hasn't been off in probably since the vehicle was made. All right, we can remove these wires from these terminals. This is for the horn. Put that on the dash pad. Now let's remove the steering wheel itself. Here we go. I am gonna spray with some WD-40, but this is 1516, and we're gonna see if I can get this steering wheel off by the method I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use a power tool to remove this, but 1516 is the nut size. I normally take a hammer and tap it right there, but we're gonna see if I can get it without. All right, here we go. I'm undefeated. I'm undefeated, guys. I'm undefeated. I do want to note here, it may seem like I can possibly bend the steering wheel or mess up the steering column or that shaft where it bolts onto, but I've done this so many times. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 100 times since I was a teenager doing this, and I've never had any issues, ever. It's always been flawless install back whenever I go back with the steering wheel, and no problem with the steering wheel. All right, undefeated. The very next thing we're gonna do, guys, put this in a run position. That's the start, but let's run like so. Let me get some light in here, show you what's next. All right, we got some light. So the very next thing we want to do is let's remove the key. Since this hasn't been out in a while, let's take the key out really quickly. Some WD-40. Let's lube this up really. Also, there's a hole here. This is the hole we're aiming for. Where I got the nozzle, let's spray in it too. Quite sure that spring has got some rust on it. Let me zoom you guys in here. See the little hole adjacent to this screw. The hole right there. That's what we're aiming for. So let's put the key back in. Now we're going to turn the key in the run position. That's the run position. This start. Let's run. Let's zoom in. So if you got something small, really small, pick or something, I'm using this T-handle Allen key. Got a few of them for size differentials. All right, now that we got that in the run position, we want to press down in here. Zoom in. That's where we want to press down at. Right where I got it at. Now let's come back out. Press that in like so. And we may have to wiggle this out. Let me hold it in. Zoom out. Alright, there it goes. Alright, we can remove that, and it's just that simple. And you guys can see that lubricant helped us out. Just a simple removal. and the installation is somewhat reversed. Remember, you want to put it in just how we removed it. Make sure we're in the run position. Now we're in. Remember, you can just, and now to lock it in place, you guys can see how, let me zoom it in real quick before we, you can see how that button is pressed in still. So when we turn the key back in the off position, you're gonna see that button pop out. I'll do it all in one motion. You guys can see. I'm trying to keep it zoomed in. I gotta press the other button. I gotta press this button here. All right, there you go. Be back in off position. You can see it's back locked in place. Put the key in, and you can see inside the hole, there's our button again. And we're locked in place. Oh, good. Okay. All right, guys, that's it. Hope you guys found this video helpful. Hope you enjoyed my little time warp. And just trying to have a little fun with the videos, especially the Mustang II as I close out this series. But yeah, we went back in time and we seen how my Pioneer and the old one and aged out, and all the buttons is aged out due to this apocalyptic event and somebody just neglected this vehicle. All right, once again, hope you guys found this video helpful. Hope you guys found it entertaining. Thank you so much for watching. Terrence and I'm out.